What is a game changer?
Yeah, I suppose when I think of game changers who have the qualities that define, as we see it, as the ability to change their landscape, the world that they live in, it would probably be J.K. Rowling,
Right.
Billy Butlin,
Okay.
from way back.
Why Billy?
Well, you know, if you look at J.K. Rowling, you look at Billy Butlin, you look at James Dyson, each one of them has changed the landscape of their world, and for us that's our definition of game changers. So Billy Butlin changes the landscape of holidays, J.K. Rowling did it for children's novels, and James Dyson has done it for getting dust out of your carpet.
So for me, I would say Dick Fosbury is probably he's quite high up there for me.
I don't know where you're going with that.
Harry Selfridge, I would suggest, and Anita Roddick for me. Each of those have changed their landscapes for me. Dick Fosbury probably most significantly than anybody else. He's made everybody now jumps backwards in a different way because of Dick.
So they all share that quality that we're looking at, that ability to change the landscape of their particular world. We've chosen people who are quite high profile, but our assumption is, and we'll probably come back to this later, is that you have people within the corporate world who can similarly change their particular landscape.
Yeah, that landscape doesn't have to be the world or whole industry. We feel that can be a business unit, a team, right down to the smallest, but it has to be a landscape. From our study, and we'll get on a bit more around our study, those that were interviewed and surveyed felt that only a small number of individuals in their organisations were game changers. Now you could either suggest that that's because they're extremely rare, or within our corporations they're not being unearthed. I'm at the moment more from the latter at this point in time.
So tell me, you've obviously invested a lot of time and you've invested a lot of time in sort of ascertaining what it is to be a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Why are game changers so important?
Well, they move us on, I think. They just move, they make a step change, and they make a step change in their environment. So we all pick individuals, I believe, as our game changers that have moved us on. I mean, we've just picked a few and a handful. And I think that's important as we continue to evolve. Yeah, it boils down to this obsessive imagination, the need to get an idea out, physically get it out, and make it a reality. And that's what sets apart these individuals. We go on to talk about that, but it's not just about being creative or innovative, having an idea.
Well, take the guy, the Italian billionaire Ferrero, who
Right.
sadly passed away last week. But if you read his story about Nutella, it was obsessive imagination. He was an individual who had an obsessive need. The story is of him waking his wife in the middle of the night constantly to get her to try the latest version. But an obsessive need to convert an idea in his head into some sort of reality. Yeah. He captures, I think, that for us.
Yeah, and there are stories around. Monet is probably one of my favourites in terms of the way that he had to see colour, he had to express colour in colour, and even at the point the story goes, telling a friend of his when his wife died prematurely. When he was looking at her, he wasn't really actually looking at his wife, he was just looking at the pigmentation on her face. He was so obsessed by colour that it superseded his love for his wife, everything. He was obsessed by it.
And I think we'll probably come on to this later, but as we were talking about how many game changers are around, I think it would be interesting for our listeners to ponder on their own obsessions and ask the question, are there moments when I have an obsessive need to turn an idea into reality. And that's probably true for many of us, actually, that we have those moments, whether it's to do with the perfect recipe, or the perfect garden, or the perfect painting. But I think it exists within all of us to strive for that expression.